Hey everybody, welcome to our online streaming services. We are coming at you consecutively on Facebook, YouTube, and on Zoom. If you are joining us on Zoom today, welcome. I'm always really happy to see everybody on Sundays. And consider sticking around for Talkback. The link will be given right after the service, so, just stick around for a minute, and then you can join us and tell us what you thought of the service and add your own perspective to the conversation, hear others. It's always a lot of fun. In addition, if you go to Facebook, you can find previous sermons and sign up to get notifications when we put up new ones. This month, we are exploring UUism, what it is, what we believe, what we do, all that good stuff. So many people say when they find our faith, wow, I've been UU all along. I just didn't know what it was. So we're helping you through that. There's something for everybody, long-term and new people. Today's sermon, How We Grow in Faith, Principles of RE with Leah Pittmon. If you don't know, Leah is our amazing RE teacher. She has still been maintaining RE. Also, if you don't know, RE is religious exploration, and she does the kids' RE program. And I personally was raised in a UU church, this UU church, and I loved it. It provided this amazing foundation for deciding what to believe on my own without telling me what to believe. It just gave me that foundation of figuring it out on my own as I got older. And now my kids are in the program, and they have a really good time. And now my youngest, I pull out the computer, and she's like, I want to see Leah. So can't wait to hear more about that. Leah is fantastic. She's amazing. In addition to Sunday services, we have other ways to connect with UUCOC, including Facebook, Instagram, the eBlast. To get your news, go to oakcliffuu.org to sign up for the eBlast, and our new YouTube channel with Beth and her frog friend. Maybe they'll put more videos out. Pledge Fest 2020. Go do it. I'm telling y'all this every week. Just go fill out your form if you haven't already. Even I did this, and I'm the procrastinator of all procrastinators. In fact, I'm doing this. Church is starting in like 10 minutes. Just kidding, it's Friday. If you'd like to help the church, there are several ways. You can donate at oakcliffuu.org/donate. Go to Amazon Smile if you're using Amazon on a regular basis. I give if you're shopping online anywhere else. And our new text to give option. I've actually heard some good feedback that it's really easy and just a simple way to contribute to your church. If you're already contributing in other ways that are not financial and you'd like to turn that into monetary benefits for us, if you're volunteering for the church, fill out your volunteer hours. That will translate into grants later. And so, you're already helping us. You might as well just log your hours for it, right? Guestbook. If you're new here, welcome. We love new faces. And again, think about staying for Talkback because we'd love to hear new perspectives. One of the great things about UUism, I think, is that we all have such different voices. And one of my favorite things about UUCOC is getting to hear those different voices and perspectives between new sermons every week and Talkback afterwards. I love that I always walk away with something new to think about. So if you are new, fill out our guest book, oakcliffuu.org/guest, and think about sticking around for Talkback. We'd love to. You don't have to talk. There's no pressure. You can just listen. But if you got something, we'd love to hear about it. Worship ministry, talk to Stacy, possibly Barbara. If you'd like to help put this together, you don't have to do the whole thing. You can just take one little part of it and make it a little easier for everybody. And then you can log your volunteer hours afterwards. Stacy, Barbara, y'all log in your volunteer hours? All right. Also, if you have a sermon, if you want to speak and you don't really have a topic, then we have these themes for the month, and you can fit into that. If you've got something else, I think we have like wild card Sundays or something. It sounds really exciting. a member of our congregation needs a little help. If you happen to have an old wheelchair you're not using, someone could use it. So if you could just email admin@oakcliffuu.org, that could be really helpful. No member anniversaries this week. Sorry, guys. I've got one next week. Until then, I'm just kidding. He's a nice dino, see? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I think COVID has broken my brain. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this week. Happy Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to our service at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Even though we are not physically together this morning, we are gathered in spiritual community to be called our better selves. If this is your first time at a UU church, know that in the words of Andrea Lerner, our faith is not interested in saving your soul. We're here to help you unfold the awesome soul that you already have.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness. And now in Spanish. Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
The Breath of Life is Not Mine Alone by Kristen L. Harper. I do not wish to breathe another breath if it is not shared with others. The breath of life is not mine alone. I brought myself here to be with you, hoping that by inhaling the compassion, the courage, the hope found here, I can exhale the fear, the selfishness, the separateness I keep so close to my skin. I cannot live another moment, at least not one of joy, unless you and I find our oneness somewhere among each other, somewhere between the noise, somewhere within the silence of the next breath.
Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair.
Please join your voice to mine in affirming our congregation's spiritual covenant. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación, así que hacemos pacto.
At this time in the service, we take time to share what is in our hearts and on our minds. If your heart is heavy today, know you do not have to carry that sorrow alone. Your heartache is a shared sorrow. A shared sorrow is a sorrow halved. Please share your sorrows publicly in the Zoom post, Zoom chat, or send us to our Facebook Messenger to speak those aloud.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
A shared joy is double the joy. Please share your joys publicly in posts, the Zoom chat, or send those to our Facebook Messenger, or speak those aloud.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart of the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leah Pittmon, and I've been volunteering in children's and teens religious education here at Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff since early 2014. Before that, I had also volunteered in children's religious education at First Jefferson Unitarian Universalist Church in Fort Worth for a year and a half. I was asked to speak today on the principles of religious education. That's a tall order, considering if you go to the Unitarian Universalist Association website, there's not a page labeled Principles of RE. There's a page on our Unitarian Universalist principles, on our sources of faith, and just about everything else under the sun. There's a lot of resources for different ages and aspects of religious education, but no well-defined outline of Principles of RE. So I'll have to draw on my personal experience, and that may be very different from someone else involved in RE. In Unitarian Universalist congregations, religious education tends to be divided into two categories that function fairly independently of one another: adult and not adult. It's easy to think of adult RE in terms of religious exploration more so than education. After all, our third and fourth principles describe the purpose of religious exploration well. acceptance of one another, and encouragement of spiritual growth, along with a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. But when it comes to children and teens, we still tend to think more in terms of religious education rather than exploration. After all, how are they to grow into adults who respect each person's path if they haven't learned about different paths and ideas before then? I will assert that both education and exploration are vital to Unitarian Universalists of all ages. While I definitely agree that introducing new ideas, learning our history, asking hard questions, finding out that there aren't always right answers are all important, I first want to talk about how doing all of this through the filter of our principles is difficult. Our current 7 principles were adopted in 1985. Here we are 35 years later. It has been suggested to add an 8th principle, but there hasn't been much talk of dropping any because they withstand the test of time. They continue to be lofty goals, easy to profess, hard to live up to. An easy example of the difficulty of living up to one of our principles is finding the inherent worth and dignity of people who do unspeakable things. But applying these principles to religious education and exploration can also be more difficult than it sounds. For the RE setting involving children and teens, it can be especially difficult to facilitate religious exploration while keeping our principles in mind. Most non-adults are used to being told what to learn, when to learn it, and why learning it is important. Following the same model, most adults working with children and youth are used to playing the part of someone imparting their knowledge to the young people. It can be challenging to both the adults and the non-adults to step away from this passive educational model and into a dynamic exploration model like we use for adult RE. Yet I firmly believe that it is critical to do so. In keeping with our principles, it is not the job of the adult facilitator to tell the young person what should be personally important to their own spiritual path and what should be regarded as more useful in understanding the spiritual paths of others. Why do we send our youth to RE class? Is it to keep them busy while adults do worship service and adult RE? Or is there more to it than that? What purpose does religious exploration hold for adults? Many would consider some of the following as purposes of adult RE: to open our minds, to share our perspectives, to provide or receive comfort in difficult times, to refresh our commitment to our ideals, to renew our spirits. I believe that all these reasons and more should be true of children's and teens RE as well. A congregation should be as committed to the spiritual growth of young people as it is to adults. Possibly even more so. To quote Pope Shenouda III of Alexandria, a church without youth is a church without a future. What are some of the ways to approach RE, specifically for young people, that keep our principles in mind? Ensuring that everyone has a chance to share in discussions is of utmost importance. Facilitating dialogue between youth that is respectful and balanced can be challenging. Not only does the adult facilitator need to avoid unduly influencing the youth with their opinion, but statements such as "that's right," "that's wrong," or "that's stupid" can be hard to navigate when coming from other youth. Redirection to the principle that we must all find our own truth is helpful when this occurs. This is also the case when one youth or a small group try to be disruptive. This can arise not only from the desire to be the center of attention, but also as a way to avoid confronting difficult subjects. Especially when dealing with young people, it is important to assume best intentions, discomfort about a subject, rather than worst intentions, trying to create attention for themselves. I often also experience one child or teen who is very excited about their opinion or idea. The tendency to dominate the conversation sometimes needs to be directed back to the principle that everyone deserves a voice. Creating opportunities for that youth to lead all or a portion of a meeting not only channels that energy, but also begins to develop their leadership skills. Assuming that all youngsters want to discuss a certain topic aloud, or that they are all interested in certain activities, can be a pitfall for the adult facilitators in a group of children or teens. I am still surprised that most children and teens I have worked with over the last several years are not very interested in singing or creating skits. Some of my favorite childhood memories of Sunday school involve these activities. Allowing a participant to pass or set out an activity can be difficult for an adult facilitator to accept without judgment, as our tendency is to want to teach. But it is not respectful of the child or teen to make them take part in a discussion or activity that makes them uncomfortable. Enforcing a no phones or computers policy in class or at lock-ins can seem to run contrary to the idea that they are each responsible for their own spiritual growth, especially to the youth involved. However, if allowed, most youth nowadays would choose electronics over participation, leading to mass non-participation and little spiritual dialogue. By not allowing electronics, it helps make the choice to participate easier than the choice not to participate, thereby encouraging youth to step outside their comfort zones. I will now turn to some common elements important to all Unitarian Universalist religious education and exploration programs, regardless of age. Learning our Unitarian Universalist history and the struggles of liberal religious tradition throughout history serves several purposes. We can see that ours is a living tradition, able to grow and evolve with new experiences and discoveries. Historical responses to past challenges can be a source of inspiration and action from which to draw to meet today's issues. Understanding how our principles came about and discovering that every time we contemplate our principles, they can take on deeper meaning and spiritual value, can commit us to the process of growth. We can begin to answer the question of what it is that binds together so many of us, not only in spite of, but also because of our differing ideas about the divine. There are a lot of old white guys in our Unitarian Universalist history, but there are also a great number of not old, not white, not guys. When we include discussions about important figures from every walk of life, religious education becomes more meaningful. Not only can participants more easily relate when they see reflections of themselves, but participants in majority demographics become more open to diversity as well. Finding stories of Unitarian Universalist and social justice heroes that inspire and encourage us, regardless of sex, race, religion of origin, nationality, or orientation, should be intentionally as diverse as possible. Another challenging arena in RE at any age is balancing our respect for science and reason with direct, transcendent experiences of the divine. For example, our humanist companions may find it harder to accept those who find a place for astrology in their religious path. Some may adhere to veganism, while others feel that focusing on eating habits would be time better spent focusing on human social justice issues. A very personal example of this for me was that of my own personal bias against the term magic. All my life, magic had meant wizard-style wand waving, bending the laws of physics, instant changes, fiction. I have had to let go of that connotation because it is a Calvinist-inspired definition bearing little resemblance to what practitioners of magic actually believe magic to be. I am also reminded of experiments where researchers applied electrical stimulation to the temporal lobes of the brain, resulting in many of their subjects reporting to sense a divine presence. Does this mean that direct transcendent experience is just an electrical misfire? Or does it mean that all humans have the capacity to experience the divine directly, but some have not cultivated it? Our respect for each individual's spiritual journey means that we can interpret these things in a way that works best for us, but shouldn't try to convince anyone else that their path is flawed. Many Unitarian Universalist congregations in the last few decades have struggled to find a balance between honoring and studying our Judeo-Christian heritage or shying too far away from it. So many whose religion of origin was modern evangelical Christianity are turned off by the mere mention of Jesus. While the transformation of Christianity by the Apostle Paul and others, especially in recent modern times, is unsavory to many UUs, our heritage is full of the ideas attributed to Jesus, the man from Palestine. My own tidy summation is radical love and acceptance of one another, which is inherent to the formation of our principles. It is definitely possible to spend too much time on the concept of one God all-loving, however, resulting in turning away those who don't interact with the divine as a God at all, those who believe the divine to be represented by more than one God, or those who see the divine in the natural world. Balancing an exploration of other faith traditions can help increase the understanding that truth does not have to come from a single source. Learning about other world religions allows us an opportunity to see common values in all faith traditions. Treating others as we wish to be treated ourselves, the golden rule, shows up in virtually all faiths. Stories of good overcoming evil abound. Every other faith tradition I have studied has included life lessons about helping those less fortunate than ourselves. We are encouraged to share not only our bounty, but also our joys and sorrows. Forgiveness is another universal theme. Faith in goodness, courage, and strength can be seen throughout world religions. In studying earth-centered traditions, our seventh principle is affirmed. In today's disposable, fast-paced world, aspects of these traditions remind us of our commitment and responsibility to our planet and environment. For some, the wonders of the natural world are more profound than any story of supernatural miracles. Close scrutiny of current events through the lenses of our Unitarian Universalist principles, sources of faith, and smooth stones of liberal religion affords us the opportunity to see that prayer is a call to action, not just a plea to the divine. As caught up and bogged down as we can become with personal and social difficulties, we can find renewed hope in the fact that we are not struggling alone. If we need rest, our spiritual families can take up the work. When we have rested, we can take it back up and allow someone else a break. I realize that my experiences are not universal, but I hope that my insights can inspire you all to embrace religious education and exploration as a form of healthy spiritual exercise to deepen your Unitarian Universalist faith. Thank you.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know with Him, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there,
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. To make an offering or your pledge, please go to oakcliffuu.org/donate and follow the links. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
Let us sing The Magic of Imagination by Susan L. Van Dresser. Let us sing the magic of imagination by which we know one another and learn the lives of eras gone by. Let us sing the magic of creation by which we build the world of our soul and teach its wisdom to others, young and old. Let us sing the magic of our lives together, holding and shaping by the movement of breath from heart to lung all new life that is to come. Go now with singing. Go now with magic in your fingertips. Touch this world with life.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez. This land